and welcome to Mind Body Becky. Today's practice is a 30-minute practice using the yoga wheel for our hips and back. This practice is suitable for beginners. All you need is a yoga wheel and possibly some blocks if you like a little bit of extra stability in your lunges. I hope you enjoy. Have a nice day. So let's get started. So coming to your mat, if you're a yoga wheel, and I'm sitting on a blanket just to lift my hips just a bit. Find your comfortable sweet seat, your Sukhasana. Sit up nice and tall, pick up those shoulders, roll them back and down. And take a moment to just allow yourself to settle in. Allow yourself to notice how you feel in this moment. Connect to the breath. Take a moment to listen to how you're feeling physically, mentally, emotionally. And know that there is no right or wrong, just honor how you're feeling. Begin to start a little bit of movement here. Inhaling, lifting that crown of the head, waking up the neck just some. Exhaling, tucking that chin. Do a few more of these, moving to your own pace, your own breath. We're just slowly starting to get the body to wake up. A little bit more arch into the back. Coming into a seated cow, exhaling, rounding through the spine, tucking the chin in the seated cat pose. Take a few rounds of this. Inhaling and exhaling. Continue to move here. Just starting to explore sensations in your body and not trying to do too much, not pushing yourself to a point of pain, but just letting your body start to move a little bit. Coming back to center, sitting up nice and tall, take a deep breath in. As we exhale, begin to roll yourself on forward. Inhale, come on back, just moving to your own pace, your own breath. Noticing how the hips feel, noticing how the low back feels. Make these motions as large or as small as feels good to you. Coming back to center, coming back to stillness. Take this over to the other side. Inhaling, finding length. Exhaling, swirl it around. Inhale as you come back. Again, just noticing differences in the body. Coming back to center, coming back to stillness, sitting up nice and tall, finding a moment where you just notice how the body feels. We're going to switch the position of the legs. So however you have the legs crossed, bring the other leg to the front or to the top. Take a moment. Roll those shoulders back and down. Find that beautiful posture, find that beautiful seat again. And then allow yourself to just notice how it feels different when you cross those legs. Repeating those Sufi rolls, taking that inhale. And as we exhale, swirl around. It doesn't matter which direction you start with, we're doing both sides. notice how your stability may feel very different here. Notice how just by switching the way the legs are crossed, it might change your stability. It might make your hips feel different. You may feel different sensations in the body, and that's okay. Finding another round of stillness. Inhaling, exhaling, swirl it around to the opposite direction. After this, we're going to get started with our wheel. Finding that stillness once again. Sitting up nice and tall, holding steady for just a moment. Notice what your body is telling you. Just getting a hold of our wheel, bring it over to, I'm going to start on my right side here. Bring that wheel over to the right side, place it underneath your hand. Inhale, sweep that left hand on up to the sky. And as you exhale, roll that wheel on out, supporting the body, finding a lateral bend. Left hand stays nice and active. Left hip stays grounded onto your surface. Inhale, come on up, let that wheel roll right behind the body. Bring it over to the other side. And take this lateral bend the opposite direction. Make sure you don't have other stuff in your way. Inhale, coming on up. Stanley, you're gonna have to move, buddy. Take that wheel out in front of you. Find that nice long spine. Exhale. Find a forward fold, letting the hands stay supported on the wheel. Let the head drop down between the shoulders. Let the head hang heavy. Shake the head yes. Shake the head no. Inhale, slowly roll ourselves on up. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see better where I'm going with this. Coming into a very gentle back bend. Bring that yoga wheel close towards the back side. Plant the hands at the base of the wheel and tip yourself back. Finding just a little bit of support. Head stays long with the spine. If this feels good to you and you want to take it deeper, you can bring those hands back behind to grasp the wheel. My body is not there today, so I'm going to stay right here. Returning back to center. And allow yourself to come into a wide-legged stance. I'm going to take this wheel back down the midline once again. Going for a wide-legged forward fold. Let the wheel come out to support you. Let your body float on down. Hinging at the hip. Try to keep the back as straight as you can. Taking several breaths here. Inhale, slowly roll yourself on up. Allow that wheel to come onto the right foot. Connect the hand to the wheel. Inhale, sweep the left hand on up. Find that lateral bend. Pulling yourself down closer. Inhale as you float on up. Left hand comes to connect to that wheel around your foot. Right hand comes back behind you, plants to the ground as you look back over that right shoulder, find a twist. Coming back through center, bring the wheel over to the opposite foot. Left hand to wheel on left foot. Inhale, sweep right hand on up. Find that lateral bend, draw yourself on down. Inhale, coming on up, right hand comes to the wheel. Left hand sweeps back behind you on an exhale. Look over that left shoulder, take that twist. Coming back to center. Release that wheel for a moment. Bring the legs in, coming into a forward fold. Hands find, both feet find the wheel, hands find the wheel, a little micro bend in the knees. Lift the spine, find as much length as you can. Exhale, hinge with that nice flat back, only as far as feels good to you. Walk those hands along the wheel. Inhale, slowly roll yourself on up. Okay. Looping wheel now around our left or right foot. Extend right foot on up. Hinge back, finding like a little bit of a boat prep shape. You can have the other leg down straight, or you can bend that knee if that feels more supportive to you. Holding here, stretching through the back of the hamstrings on that right foot. Chest stays forward. If you want to take this a little bit deeper, you can bring the hands along the wheel, closer to the foot, bending the elbows as you draw nose towards knee. Floating that foot down, floating that wheel down. Place the wheel down onto the mat and bring that foot, that leg calf onto that wheel. Finding length in the spine. Walk those hands along your wheel as you draw nose down towards knee. Noticing sensations in the body, noticing where you're feeling this shape. Inhale, slowly come on up, release that leg. Take this over to the other side. So looping our left foot into that wheel. Draw that leg on up, find length. Bringing those hands down the wheel, walking it in a little deeper, a little closer if that's what feels good to you. Release that foot, release that wheel. Wheel comes down, calf finds that wheel. Find that length in the spine. Exhale, walk those hands on down, hinge forward. Inhale, float it on up. Release that foot out to the side, move your wheel off to the edge for a moment. Bend those knees. Windshield wiper out those hips. So coming on to hands and knees next. You may want to have blocks handy because getting into some of these positions using the wheel can be a little tricky. So having blocks to bring the ground up to the hands might be beneficial for you. But take a moment first to rock into the hips side to side just a little bit. Engage the core. Find your nice stable table. Take a few breaths here. Inhaling as we drop the belly, tip the tail, look up, finding our cow. Exhaling, rounding through the spine. Look back at the knees. Cat pose. Take a couple more of these. Moving. Coming back to stationary. Inhaling, sweeping the right leg long behind us. Plant those toes, sink through that heel. Inhale, take that right leg long. Exhaling as we cross it over the left, look over our left shoulder as we look back at that right foot. Next inhale, extends that right leg nice and long. Hips are parallel to the ground, leg is parallel to the ground. Find your stability here, and when you do, extend that opposite hand, pressing hand and foot away from each other. Float that hand down to the mat, float that right knee down to the mat. And here's where you may watch your blocks. And you're definitely gonna watch your wheel. Let's bring that wheel back into play. Step right foot forward and bring the wheel underneath that thigh as you sink down into your lunge shape. Blocks come to either side just for a little bit of added stability. You can pop up on those back toes to release that left kneecap. And find a little bit of length here. Inhale as we press the chest forward, gaze comes up. Sinking ourselves down into this stretch. Notice that with the support of the wheel, we can go deeper into this lunge without compromising our integrity. We have the support and the stability to relax into that stretch. Beginning to roll back, straighten through that knee, walk the hands back. Maybe you adjust the wheel just a little bit, bringing it a little closer to the ankle. Find some length in the spine. Exhale, sink down and nose towards knee. Inhale, roll yourself on forward, let that foot come back down to the mat. Let your leg find its stability. Inhale, sweep those hands on up towards the sky. Grasping our left wrist with our right hand, find the lateral bend. Inhale, back to center. Drop those hands down towards the mat, lean forward, nose towards knee. Inhale, coming on up. Sweep those hands. Left wrist is in the right hand again. Find that lateral bend. Inhale, back to center. Hands down through heart center this time. Take a twist. Left elbow finds right knee. Back to center. Inhale, sweep those hands on up. Exhale, swan dive it down. Walk those hands back towards the body as we bend in, returning back to that half split. Coming on up, finding length, sliding that wheel out of our way for a moment. Bring that right leg back behind us, come back down onto our mat. Windshield wiper the hips side to side just a bit. Take the knees nice and wide, sink the hips back to heels. Take a moment in child's pose. See how the body feels between the left and the right side. Then we return back on up. Find that nice stable table once again. Maybe do a couple rounds of cat and cow. Just testing to see if our alignment feels good. And then when we're ready, we find that nice strong table. Engage that core. Inhale, sweep left leg long behind us. Plant those toes, sink through that heel. Inhale, take that leg nice and long. Crisscross leg over, look back over the shoulder. Back to center, extend left leg long. Find your balance, hips are parallel, leg is parallel, toes point down, and when you're ready, extend the opposite hand, stretching hand and foot away from each other. Float that hand down, float that knee down, and then work your way up. Grabbing a hold of our wheel again, left leg steps forward, left leg comes underneath that yoga wheel, blocks. Bring the floor to us as we find our stability here. Let the hips sink down towards the wheel, towards the floor. Gaze comes up, chest shines forward. Walking those hands back towards our body, roll through that wheel. Maybe you come up just for a second and adjust that wheel closer to the ankle. So we find that length in the body, nose drops down towards knee. Find our supported half split. Inhale, coming on up, walk those hands forward, roll back down to that foot, finds the mat. Inhale, sweep those hands on up towards the sky. Left hand grasps the right wrist, take that lateral bend to the left. Inhale on up, exhale, float those hands on down, sink nose down towards knee. Inhale on up, sweep those hands. Left hand grasps that right wrist, find that lateral bend once again. And inhaling on up, exhaling, hands down through heart center. This time, take your twist to the left, right elbow finds left knee. Inhale, float those hands. Bring them on down, hands find those blocks again. We roll ourselves on back, we find one more half split, adjust the wheel if you need to. Find that nice flat back, that length in the spine, exhale, hinge forward. Inhaling, coming on up. Moving that wheel out of the way, bringing that left leg back behind you. Take the knees nice and wide. Give yourself whatever counter pose feels good to you. You can do some cat-cows, you can switch the hips side to side, you can do some nice great hip circles. And then when you're ready, take the knees wide, sink the hips to the heels. Take a beaten child's pose and notice the difference between the right and the left side of the body. Inhale, slowly roll yourself on up. So we can also use the wheel to do a little bit of more powerful core work. So we're going to take a moment and we're going to try a plank. If you are weak in your planks, then doing a standard plank is perfectly acceptable here. So first, just take a moment to play with your plank. Step those feet long behind you, press into the arms. Think about tenting the shoulder blades, move away from each other, the back gets nice and wide. You're going to want this power. The option to increase the intensity of this, we bring the wheel between our feet. And then we bring the wheel onto the tops of our feet, touching our ankles. Hands are in their plank position. Engage that core, take a nice deep breath in. And as we exhale, straighten out those legs. And hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees, let the knees come down. Sink the hips back to heels, take a moment in child's pose. We're going to do that 2 more times. Catching our breath, engaging our core. Deep breath in, exhale, and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on down. Take that rest. You need to give the wrists a moment. Circle out those wrists. Shake out those hands. Last one. Hands under shoulders. Wheel under our feet and ankles. Engage that core. Exhale. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew, come on down. Take a rest in child's pose. Rolling ourselves back on up to seated. Move the wheel out of the way. Come all the way down onto the mat. Hug those knees into the chest for a moment. Rock it side to side. Drop those legs over to the right. Let the gaze come to the left. Take a moment to notice how the body feels. Come back to center, hug those knees in. And when you're ready, inhaling, release the arms, and as you exhale, drop those legs over to the left. Gaze over to the right. Returning back to center, take one last hug in with those knees. As you exhale, release those legs out long. Let the hands come out by your sides. Give yourself permission to take up space. If it feels good to you and you would like to, you can also take that wheel and place it underneath the legs and take a little bit of an inversion, a little bit of a legs up the wheel posture. Might take a little bit of finagling. Everything is optional. As you rest here, take a few moments to notice what you're feeling in your body. Notice if there were any changes. You are welcome to rest here as long as you need to, as long as it serves you. I hope this practice showed you some new ways that you can use your yoga wheel that don't necessarily involve back bends. Ways that you can use it to find support and to loosen up your hips. Thank you for allowing me to guide you. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. Have a wonderful day.